morning. Welcome to First Baptist Church, Harbor Oaks, Florida. We're glad that you're here in our online edition of our worship together today. We're so glad that you've chosen to be a part of this. And so we're glad that you're here. And let us know that you're checking in today. And let us know that you're here so that way we can know who has joined us today. And so you might be wondering, why is Pastor Mike wearing a party hat? Why am I wearing this? Why am I messing with party tools and party favors? Because today we're talking about a party. We're talking about a party. And so my question, I guess, for you is, do you like to go to parties? Everybody likes to go to parties, but it feels like parties is going to be something we find in a history book. But here's the thing. Do you like to throw large parties? I mean, the kind where you order all the food, the drinks, the entertainment, games, the whole bit, the DJ, everything. You don't spare any expense. Where your house is filled with people that you know and love, and everybody is having a good time. You would spare literally no expense on this party. You know, you put some steaks on the grill, prepare all kind of hors d'oeuvres. You imagine if you threw this kind of party, this big party. You send out all the invitations and you receive all the RSVPs back and say everybody's going to show up. You're going to have a house full of people, and you're so excited. And then the day of the party comes, and you're really ready to go. And then all of a sudden, your phone begins to ring and your phone begins to light up. One by one, with calls, texts, messages, they keep coming in telling you that they're not coming to your party. I mean, and worse yet, you get some of the worst excuses possible for why they can't come to your big party. You even get an excuse of somebody who can't come because they got an ingrown toenail. And you're like, really? You can't come to my party because of that? Here's the thing. You spent all this money, and now everyone you invited refuses to come. How upset would you be? In today's passage here, we're talking about this kind of party. We're talking about Jesus is telling a parable about a party, but it's a parable with a lot of truth in it, okay? And so we're talking about a large banquet, a large party, and I want you to talk about the invitation. There is an invitation here in this party, okay? So I want you to think about it. You know, when we throw a party and people don't show up, and it's not just a matter of throwing out food and wasting drinks and the DJ that plays to nobody. This party, this invitation that we're talking about in this passage today is a whole lot more crucial and life important and even life threatening if we ignore the invitation. This is the thing I want you to talk about. I want you to examine, I want you to think about the invitation that Jesus talks about right here in this passage when he talks about his kingdom. So if you've got your Bibles today, follow along with me. We're going to be in Luke chapter 14, verses 15 to 24. The scripture says, when one of those who reclined at the table with him heard these things, he said to him, the one who will eat bread in the kingdom of God is blessed. Then he told him, a man was giving a large banquet and invited many. At the time of the banquet, he sent his slave to tell those who were invited, come, because everything is now ready. But without exception, they all began to make excuses. The first one said to him, I bought a field, and I must go out and see it. I ask that you excuse me. Another one said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I'm going to try them out. I ask that you excuse me. And another said, I just got married, therefore I'm unable to come. So the slave came back and reported these things to his master. Then in anger, the master of the house told his slave, go out quickly into the streets and the alleys of the city, and bring in here the poor, the maimed, the blind, and the lame. Master, the slave said, what you've ordered has been done. There's still room. Then the master told the slave, go out into the highways and the lanes and make them come in, so that my house may be filled. For I tell you, not one of those men who were invited will enjoy my banquet. So today we're talking about a banquet here, and Jesus is at a banquet. He's at a large party when this discussion comes up. So while at a party, Jesus adds on to a comment that somebody made about the kingdom, and he talks about another very large party. Okay? And so I want you to think about this invitation that Jesus is talking about. So first of all, I want you to listen in verses 15 and 17. We see the invitation of Jesus. I want you to listen to the invitation of Jesus. Jesus is he's at a party and he's talking about this invitation. Okay, look at the invitation. A great lord, a very wealthy person, throws a very large dinner in his home, and he invites many guests. Okay, big time party. Okay, many guests were invited. These RSVPs probably went out to all these guests. They were probably hand delivered to everybody was invited to come to the dinner. The master sends out his servant to announce the beginning of the dinner party. It's like a dinner bell, ding ding. Everything's ready. Y'all come. This was very common for folks to send out a servant to tell all the guests, okay, it's ready. Y'all come. Okay, so he prepared everything. So you see here, there's an invitation. Because in this parable, the master is Father God, and the servant, the slave, is Jesus. I want you to think about that. Okay, and so he says, Jesus, he says, I want you to go out and tell everybody everything's ready. Let's go. Bring them in. Tell them it's time. This is the party's about to start. And who wouldn't want to go to a party, right? You get invited to a party, of course you're going to want to go. Okay, and so you want to see, we've been invited to a party. So I want you to understand that when it comes to this passage, there's an invitation that has been sent out. There's an invitation that's been sent out to me and to you. And it's an invitation to a very, very large party. It's a never-ending, forever type of gathering that's going to be where we spend eternity with the Father, and it's going to be a joyous, fun time forever. We've been invited. The invitation has been sent out. You've got it. It's right in front of you, and it's an invitation. And, okay, are you going to accept the invitation? Well, that's where we're going next. Verses 18 to 20, I want you to understand that we should not snub the invitation of Jesus. I don't want you to snub the invitation of Jesus. Verse 18 says, but without exception, they all began to make excuses. The first one said to him, I have bought a field and I must go see it. I ask you to excuse me. So you see all these excuses. The servant begins to receive all these excuses. He comes back and says, Master, I'm getting all these people so they can't come. They can't come. And so now I want you to understand, in this society, to refuse the invitation of a gathering like this at this late stage is a personal insult. If you were invited to a party and you didn't, and you waited to the last minute to say no, I can't come, this was considered a very personal insult in this society, okay, in this culture. And so the master literally was insulted at this point. So it was, but if you just didn't do this, okay. But here we see excuses. So excuse number one: man bought some land, you need to go out and see it. This was a common practice to go and view a piece of land after sale, but he could have done this anytime he wanted. You see, in reality, large banquets are typically held at night. Could he go out and check his land at night? I don't know. Why would he? And there's another question: why would he go buy some land that he had not seen? The reality was, this was an excuse that was unexcusable. Seriously, you're not going to come to my party because you bought something and you need to go see it. Something you could go see anytime. You're not going to come to my party. But then he continues. Look at second excuse. He's, well, a man bought 5 yoke of oxen. He said, I got to go check them out. I got to go try out these oxen. Now, most folks, if he had 1 yoke of oxen, but the fact that this guy had 5 yoke of oxen meant that he was extremely wealthy. He had 5 yoke of oxen. And so he said, I got to go try them out. But this is another flimsy excuse. He could have tested his animals anytime he wanted, but he said, no, I got, this is more important to me than going to your party. I got to go test these animals. Then another excuse. You see that in verse 20. I just got married and therefore I'm unable to come. This is the worst excuse of all. Because in the Old Testament, a newly married man could be excused from military service, but this did not include social events. He didn't even offer an apology. He simply refused to come. I'm not going. Just tell them I'm not coming. I got married. I'm not coming. Okay? And so this is the most inexcusable excuse of all. It was flimsy. He could have simply brought his new bride to the party, yeah, but he didn't. Okay, and so you see all these one by one flimsy excuses. If you had spent a ton of money in preparing a party, and all these people said, I can't go, and you're like, you're not showing up to my party. I mean, you'd be upset too. Okay, and so this guy, you see, he's like, really? And so I want you to think about it when it comes to the invitation of Jesus. See, all these people were snubbing this invitation, like, you know what, it's not a big deal. It's not really important to me. The most important invitation you will ever receive to anything is the invitation to be in the family of God. An invitation to be a child of God. An invitation sent out by the Father through the Son, Jesus, who personally invites you to be in his family. You've been given an invitation. What I would like to tell you is that do not snub the invitation. Do not turn your nose at it, because this is the most important invitation you'll ever see, and it's from the one who loves you the most. Don't snub this invite. But he continues. You see over in verses 21 to 24, you see what the master's decision was. He says, so the slave came back and reported all these things to his master. And in anger, the master of the house said to his slave, go out quickly into the streets and alleys of the city and bring in here the poor, the maimed, the blind, and the lame. So when the servant reported all this, the master was obviously not happy. Got all this food's going to spoil. Everything, all this money I've spent, and you guys aren't going to show. He's not real thrilled, okay? And so he's been insulted, and all this stuff was going to go bad, and so he was not happy. So he comes up with an alternative plan. I've got an alternative plan. What does he tell him? He tells his servant, hey, I want you to go out and bring in everybody from the city that will come. He says, go out and invite the blind, invite the lame, invite the poor, invite the crippled, okay? Bring all those who normally would not be invited to such parties. These type of folks in this culture, they wouldn't be getting invitations to these type of huge banquets. They just wouldn't. These are people on the fringes of society. They would not get invitations to these type of feasts. But he says, I want you to go and fight these people. Go and fight them. And so the servant does. He goes and does what the master requests. And then he comes back and says, sir, I've done everything you've asked me to do, and yet there is still room in the house for more. What would you like me to do? And you see his response. Over in verse 23, he says, go out into the highways and the lanes and make them come in, so that my house may be filled. So you see here, he says, okay, I want you to go out and I want you to compel us. Go find us. When he talks about the roadside, he's literally referring to the most poverty-stricken aspects of society. These are the people who are in extremely great need. Okay? So the first invitations went out to a lot of people who probably didn't have a lot of need. Now the invitation's going out to people who are in extreme need. And these are people who would have to be compelled to come because they would not think themselves worthy enough to attend such a great dinner party. They would consider themselves very far from this, from being honored here. And so how does this relate to us? Well, Jesus has sent, the Father has sent the invitation out. It's not sent to just the Jewish nation. It's sent out to the Gentile nation, but it's also sent out to a lot of people. And this is a mirror picture of people who are spiritually needy, people who are spiritually bankrupt, people who literally have nothing left in the spiritual tank. They got nothing. Okay, these are the ones that Jesus talked about in Matthew 5 about being poor in spirit, because they got nothing spiritually in the tank. They are spiritually destitute. The Father says, go out and invite them, compel them. They're not going to think worthy to come. They're not going to want to come. They're not going to think that they shouldn't even be allowed to come, but invite them, compel them, encourage them to come to the party. because I'm inviting them too. You see, there's nobody that did not get invited here. The people that originally got invited, they didn't want to come. So now the master's like, I'm not going to let all this go to waste. I want you to invite all these people. So what does that mean about us? That tells us, you know what that tells us? That the invitation to be in the Father's house, the invitation that the Son, Jesus Christ, came and died for and rose from the grave for, as we recognized last week, this invitation is open to everyone. If you're within the sound of my voice and you can see me, let me tell you that invitation is open to you too. You are invited. You are invited to come to the biggest family party that will ever happen in eternity. And that will be when the gathering of God's people come together into God's house. When we are surrounded by the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. We're going to be surrounded forever. Okay, so what is he telling us here? We need to invite other people who are different than us. We need to let everybody know, you know what, everybody needs Jesus. We sometimes just like, well, I'll witness to so-and-so and I'll tell so-and-so about Jesus, but other folks now, you know, they're different. Yeah, they're different. But these people need Jesus too. Didn't matter if he was a Jew or a Gentile. Didn't matter whether he was rich or poor. Didn't matter whether what part of the side of the tracks you came from. Didn't matter what color your skin was. Didn't matter what you had in the bank. Didn't matter what language you spoke. If you are alive, you have the invitation of Jesus Christ. It's open to you right now. The party invitation is sent right now. So the thing is that those who think that because they have the original invitation, see, Jesus is talking about the Jewish nations. They have the original invitation. The Jews, God's chosen people, they have the original invitation. Well, many of them, especially the religious leaders, rejected that invitation because they had rejected Jesus. They've rejected the Son, and therefore they've rejected the Father, and that original invitation, they're not going to get into the party unless they come through the Son. If you don't show up when the Master calls, then the invitation expires. Okay? If we fail to show up at a formal party, and then we show up much later after the party's over, that would be awkward. And we'd be told, you know what, the party was hours ago, and you didn't show up. And that would be a very awkward moment. And they'd be like, there's no party. You might as well just go home because you missed it. And Jesus is saying here, the words of Christ is saying here, there's an invitation sent out. Don't miss the invitation. Don't ignore the invitation, because there can come a point where you're going to miss it, and you won't get, and the invitation will close. Okay, the invitation will close. So what's the point here? Jesus' invitation must be accepted when given, because the reality is there's not going to be any gate crashing. There's not going to be anybody who's going to crash the gates of heaven and say, I can come in to this party simply because I've done a lot of good things. Well, I've given a lot of money to the church. Well, I help people in need. I'm kind. I'm compassionate. I don't do a lot of bad things. I treat people nice, and we think, they think I can get into heaven because of my good deeds. That's not going to work. Scriptures are clear. Our righteousness, our goodness is like filthy rags. It's not good enough. We're not going to crash into the gates of heaven, into that party, by anything we do. It's not going to work. And we're not going to get into the party off of somebody else's invitation. Just if you get an invitation to a party, that invitation is for you. That invitation, everybody gets their own invitation. If you try to come to a party on somebody else's invitation, they're not going to let you in. Like, no, you weren't invited. So-and-so was invited. You can't get in. Same way. You can't, just because your grandma, grandpa, mom, dad is a child of God, and they know Jesus, doesn't mean that you're going to be able to go to heaven and be a part of that off of their invitation. They get in because they accepted the invitation of Jesus Christ. Every individual person has to accept the individual invitation that's sent out by the Father to trust Jesus Christ. You have to take your own invitation. You're not going to get into heaven off somebody else's invitation. And so you see in this passage here that the ones who are going to be in the party are going to be the only ones that's going to be in the party, the only ones who's going to be sitting at the table. And when history is concluded, when we're sitting with the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, the only ones that's going to be there is the ones who accepted the invitation of Jesus Christ. Nobody else. No matter who they are, no matter what they've done or what they haven't done, doesn't matter. If you didn't accept the invitation of Jesus Christ, you're not getting in. It's as clear as that. Salvation is offered as a gift, which must be accepted in order for it to be received. Does that make sense? It's not going to happen unless we accept and receive the gift, the invitation to be a part of His family. So you see in this parable here, you got the host of a great party, and the host is the Father, the servant is Jesus. And the Father is literally inviting everybody to come. But it's clear from this passage, not everybody's coming. Everybody gets an invitation, but not everybody's coming. But as the servant told the master, he says, there's still room in the house. There's still room. And I'm going to reiterate that as well. There is still room. The invitation is still open. There is still room in the Father's house. Many of you today, you have thought about, you've talked about, you've considered the invitation of Jesus Christ. It's before you. And you know what the invitation means. But you've yet to accept it. You've held it in your hand, you've looked at it, you've thought about it, but you haven't accepted it. Today, I want to encourage you that you finally say yes to that invitation and become a child of God. Because that is so crucial. Because there's still room in the Father's house. The invitation is still good right now. He's inviting right now. If you've not accepted that invitation to be a part of this family, to make heaven your home, there is still time, there is still room. Because there may come a time when that invitation will be rescinded. When the Holy Spirit, who keeps prompting us to tell us we need to trust Jesus and accept that invitation, the Holy Spirit stops urging us to accept that offer. I want you to listen to that invitation. It's the best invitation you'll ever receive. Don't snub your nose at this invite. This is an invitation that you don't want to just throw on your desk and forget about. This is one that is really important because, frankly, just like the parable, there really is no good excuse for refusing the free gift of salvation. I want you to accept the invitation while you still have it in front of you. Because no one gets into heaven without Jesus' RSVP. What is His RSVP? It's the acceptance of His payment for your sins on the cross. Jesus calls out and says, y'all come, the party's ready. Y'all come, join my family, come into my house, be a part of what I'm doing. Jesus is standing and He's waiting for our response. The Father says, I got room. So the question remains is, what are you going to do with this? Some of you are like, well, I mean, I'm a child of God and I'm good and I got my invitation and heaven's going to be my home and praise God. I'm grateful for that. But you know somebody who has an invitation, but they haven't received it. They haven't accepted the invitation. They haven't really said yes to Jesus. You know who they are. You should be praying for them. You should be encouraging them. You should be loving on them and helping them understand just how important that invitation is right now. We need to do that. And today, if you're listening, and maybe you're like some, the invitation has been sitting in your hand, or it's been sitting on your desk, it's been sitting on your table, and you see it, and you know what it is, and you know what it means, but you've not said yes to it, you know what? You still have time. If you're watching this, you still have time. Don't ignore, don't snub the invitation to the greatest party that will ever happen. A party in the Father's house. You're invited. Will you come? Will you come? The question is yours. What are you going to do? Father, Lord, I want to thank you for that great invitation that you've given us. Father, to be in the Father's house. Lord, to be in your house. And to, Lord, be in a place where we don't deserve. None of us, Father, deserve that invitation, Father. Many of us have had to be compelled to come in because None of us are worthy, Lord, to be a part of this. Father, none of us are worthy of even coming into that place called heaven where that big part is going to happen. But Father, because of what Jesus did on that cross, that invitation still stands. And all we have to do is say yes to Jesus. So Father, I pray for every person that's listening today, Father, that you would encourage them to say yes to that invitation of Jesus Christ. That they will put their faith and trust in you, Father, that they will, Lord, they will ask, Lord, for forgiveness of their sins, Father, that they will ask Jesus to come into their life, Father, that they will give their life to him. The Lord, understanding that everyone who calls in the name of the Lord will be saved. Father God, I pray that you would encourage everyone listening, Lord, that they would not say no to that great invitation. Father, they would say yes to you. Father, there's others, there's folks that's listening right now and watching right now, Father, that have made that decision. Father, they have said yes to the invitation of Jesus Christ. Father, I pray that they will let us know. And Father, that so we can be praying for them and rejoicing with them, celebrating with them. Father, because we know from Scripture, when somebody trusts and somebody accepts the invitation of Jesus, that there is a big time celebration in heaven because of that. So, Father, I pray that you would encourage those who trust Jesus to let us know that they have. Father God, I pray for those, Father, who are considering that invitation. Father, that they will not let the sun go down on that invitation. I thank you, Father, for what you've done there. And Father, I pray for our oneness in Jesus' name. Amen. I want to thank you for being a part of us today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I do want to let you know that if you've missed something that we've done on Sundays or during the week, everything that we do is on our church YouTube channel, and so you can go check that out. It's in the comment box, and so you can go watch that. Let us know if there's any way we can pray for you, if there's a way we can help you and encourage you. Message us or comment so that way we can know. We do want to be here for you. We do want to encourage you and support you. We want to be there as a church for you. We're glad you're here. We'll be here next time. We'll be doing a devotional in the middle of the week, and then we'll be here next Sunday at 11 o'clock right here on Facebook Live. And so we're glad you're here, and we're looking forward to next time. Y'all have a blessed day.